flags out.
You can still stand on the end with them, but just not in the middle.
No, actually, they need to be away from. They need to be away from. No, that flag's fine.
Big flags out. Big flags on the
Can we
outside.
all take a step back, please, to the bus? You can just take a step back.
Take a step back toward the bus. Thank you.
Everybody take a step back, please.
Can we mind you well? Are we doing what we're supposed to?
My name's David Schaefer. I'm the chairman of the Georgia Republican Party. We are committed to the counting of every lawful vote, and we're committed to no unlawful vote being counted. And it's my privilege to introduce to you Representative Vernon Jones.
Thank you. Hello, America. Hello, Georgia. Hello, Georgia. In case y'all didn't know, I'm a Southerner, and we believe in fighting. This fight is just getting started. We're starting now to see the white of their eyes, and we get ready to start shooting. Let me tell you something. The people of this state, Georgians, the voters of this state, has a right to have their vote not only counted, but they need to know the results here in Georgia. When I look at these communities, these Democratic-led cities where votes haven't come in yet, that tells me right there what we've been saying all along. This is a failure, and this is actually a part of the pandemic of failure of the Democratic leadership. It doesn't matter what color you are, what party you are. Your vote deserves to be counted, and we need to know what those results are. We need to know now. How in the hell you can send a man to the moon, but you can't get results in 24 hours? Something's wrong with that. Let me tell you, I'm cut from the same cloth that Donald Trump is cut from. We fight. We're not about to even concede to anybody. We are going to stay on the battlefield until the last man drops. Let me tell you that right now. And I'm honored to stand with some of the most incredible fighters, true fighters, with me behind me. They'll be talking in a minute, but I want to say to you right now, transparency is important. Every legal vote being counted is important. What the posters have done and the far left has done, and there's been no fair fight, it's been a legal fight. The fight's been fixed. That's real voter suppression. That is real voter suppression. I want to say to the great Georgians here tonight and across this country, everybody, Georgia is one of the original 13 colonies. And we're going to stand up for our lefts, and we're going to stand up for our voting rights, too. We're going to fight this to the end. There's been too many irregularities. There's been too many votes uncounted. There's been votes that are showing up out of nowhere. Where in the hell did that come from? Donald Trump wants everybody's vote counted. That's legal. That's legal. How does a box of votes just show up the day after the election and we count those? Where are they coming from? Who's bringing their ballots going unsigned? Where's that coming from? There has been no transparency in Georgia. There's been no transparency in our election process. Something is wrong, and we are going to question every single ballot that was cast in Georgia. I want to say,
Georgia is red! 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 Georgia is red!
it's a Democratic Party. Is the Democratic Party afraid of people of color voting for Donald Trump? Is that what it is? Are they afraid of suburban women voting for Donald Trump? Is that what it is? Something is wrong here. And for the media and others not to question this process, that tells me many of you are in cahoots with them. All of you have been reporting Joe Biden up 10 points here, and one even said 17 points. You know what that was doing? You interfered more with this election than the damn Russians has. Let me tell you, we're not going to stand for that. We're not going to back down. We're going to fight. We don't cut and run. We're going to fight. This is a battle cry. You're damn right. This is a battle cry. We have worked too hard and too long. And that Donald Trump has been fighting for every American. It doesn't matter what your color was or your gender. And if he could put his life on the line.
We love Trump! We love Trump!
If he could put. We love Trump. Okay. We love Trump. But if Donald Trump if Donald Trump and Kimberly and America, Doug Collins, all of them. But my point is, America, my point is, Georgia, that we believe in the process. But this process has been tainted. And if you taint it for one party, you taint it for the other party. If you taint it for one American, then you taint it for all Americans. And we're not going to stand for this. And you know who's another fighter that's coming here, that's here tonight? I don't know who fights the most, him or his father. That Don Jr., you don't want to be in a ring with Don Jr. He learned it from his daddy. But he cares. He cares about this state, and he cares about this country. And they have a track record of resolving issues and addressing issues in the state of Georgia for every American. And so I want to say to the press, so you can get the word out right now, this is my last point. We ain't bullshitting. Stacey Abrams, you want a fair fight? Bring it on. Bring it on. You've been like a vacuum cleaner, getting all of this underground money. We need to see where it's coming from and how you're spending it. But I know one thing, you're spending it on suppressing black people and other people. You're suppressing them. You know how you suppress? Because you're intimidating people for having their individual thoughts and their individual concerns. And because they don't support your agenda, you don't want them to vote. You don't want them to come out and speak their minds. What you're trying to do is keep them on that plantation. But many of us are giving the key to that suite. We have left that damn plantation, and we're never coming back. And look at the numbers. Look at the numbers from Donald Trump. He gained more people of color vote than any other Republican going back to the 60s. And the difference between him and Joe Biden is, Joe got a dream. If after 47 years you give me a chance, I get it right this time. But Donald Trump took 47 months, and he has a solid record of accomplishments. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to another firebrand, Congressman Doug Collins. Give my hands.
All right. You know, there's an interesting saying out there, and I want you to understand it clearly. Every illegal vote cast suppresses a legal vote. You got to understand this. And what we're here today is we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about what's actually going on. And when you have ballots show up late, when you all of a sudden, as we had in Cobb County, ballots just show up today. You have votes that are coming in from other places. When we're seeing these actually take place, then you got a problem. But there's a little problem here with transparency. But as Vernon was talking and as Don Jr. and all are coming, transparency only seems to be good when the Democrats like the transparency. And when the media is willing to go along with it, because there's a little incident just the other night at State Farm Arena. They had, remember, a water leak. They had a water break. So they told everybody to go home. They told our folks to go home. They told everybody else to go home, except for one little problem. When everybody went home at 10 o'clock, they started counting again. And but here's the worst. Until 1 in the morning they counted, and there's a media outlet that's covering this event right here that has it, they know it, and they won't say anything about it. Who's in cahoots with who? So, but this is a bigger issue. And folks, I want you to hear me clearly, because I've been fighting for a long time. Folks behind me know it. We've been knowing it. And I'm going to just say back something that came back from a time when we fought against Russian hoax. We fought against sham impeachment. We fought against Mueller. And it's coming to view right now in the view of things that we're seeing. And I just have a time now, as I told the Democrats in Congress, I'm going to tell the Democrats in the state of Georgia and all of this country, the clock and calendar's watching. You're trying to do it fast because you want it wrong, because you don't believe Donald Trump should be elected president. And I'm going to tell you right now, the people of America will stand up. These votes will be counted. Every legal vote counted. Because the time in which you take groups and the times in which you just take only the votes you want is over. You're not going to be able to hide behind the curtains of veil to secrecy and count in areas in Georgia where it always seems to be the counties that are run by Democrats that always seem to have the problem. Explain this one to me. I tell you, I hope the Attorney General, Chris Carr, is watching, because it's time to start looking. It's time to stop taking excuses on why it happens every time. The Republican Secretary of State, the Republican leadership here have called it out many times, but many times, as Vernon knows from these counties that are Democrat-run, is where we find the most problems. This should not happen. Everybody's vote should count, and everybody ought to have a right to get there and have them legally counted. You can't have boxes sitting open like we had in Chatham County today where they're supposedly segregating votes, and yet you have it open with no security, yet a judge down there says, no, it's fine, let's keep it up. The legislature in Georgia needs to look at this. The legislature in Georgia needs to look. There needs to be IDs on the absentee ballots. You've got to know when they come in and when they don't come in. So, folks, let me just say this. We're here tonight and across. We've seen it here in Georgia, and we're going to see it everywhere else. This is about the most fundamental right Americans have. It is the one thing that has kept us as Americans for 200 plus years. It's not our religion, it's not our race, it's not our creed, it's not our background. It is a simple right to do what those founders said. Vote for our leaders and have the will of the people honored and the law followed. When the law is followed, the truth will prevail. And as I have always said and others have said before, when we follow the truth will set us free. And that is what we're asking for tonight. So tonight, as many as gathered here to help, as many as gathered here to hold accountable, that's what we've got to do. This country needs accountability, and the folks on the left don't like Donald Trump because he holds them accountable. And there's one who's been exposing that for a long time. He's just the younger version of the one in the White House. And then he comes to tell the truth. Now, people don't like the truth, but you know what? When the truth hurts, you're just going to have to wear it. And when in this election is going to be done, after all is said and done and every legal vote counted, Donald Trump will be elected 4 more years. And right now, I do have to say, for those watching, especially in Georgia, if you had issues or you need help with your vote, you need 70410-8793. This is a helpline. Again, make sure your vote counts. And now it is my honor and pleasure to call up a friend of mine who's been all over this country, fighting for this country and all over the world. Don Jr. is here with us tonight.
Well, thank you everyone there, but thank you everyone here. Well, Vernon and Doug, thank you for your incredible steadfast resolve as it relates to getting this right, and that's what we want. We do want a fair election. We want all legal votes counted. But it's shocking to me, and I'll let you guys talk Georgia because you understand what's going on the ground here, but I've been watching this all over the country. When I hear there's a deadline, and then magically boxes appear later, we know that's against the law, but you get in front of a Democrat judge in a Democrat city with Democrat control, and it's okay. Then, before you can contest it, they throw those ballots in one big box. Now you can't tell which one is accurate and which isn't. I think the Democrats are used to this from a Republican Party that hasn't had a backbone. You're not going to see that this time around. That party is gone, and anyone that doesn't fight like that should go with it. And I actually tweeted this earlier today, but when I look at these examples, and it's not just in Georgia, when I look at Philadelphia, think about it. They're putting up pizza boxes on windows to prevent people from watching. You have James O'Keefe getting it on video where they're doing it in Michigan. You have example after example. Notice how it only breaks one way? So Donald Trump gets a historical percentage of minority votes And there are counties where between 75, 100,000, in some cases, I guess there was one, 23.5 thousand ballots show up. Not one single Trump voter. They also happen to be ballots that don't talk about any of the races other than president. Does anyone believe that this is possible? Because it's not. It's a statistical impossibility, and yet it's happening not just once, but over and over again. This is the kind of nonsense that has to stop. When they're suing and a judge allows Republican watchers to come in and they say you have to stand 12 feet away, then they have to bring binoculars. They can't actually observe. Think about how insane that is. So they sue to get closer access. The Democrat Party then blocks watchers. They sue again to prevent people from being able to watch what's going on. I wonder why. I wonder why. Because I can't think of a possible reason other than they plan on cheating. Just like we've seen throughout the country, where the Democrat big push for absentee ballots was to make sure that the signature on that ballot does not have to match the signature on the record of that voter. Obviously. And so when we see that, we assume what we've all known for so many years. But I think the number one thing that Donald Trump can do in this election is fight each and every one of these battles to the death so that we get full transparency in the process. And everyone on the Democrat side should welcome this unless they're actually cheating. Because if they're winning these things fair and square, then everyone would love to know that, because me as an American, I'd like to know that, because I've lost all faith in the process. And when I see millions of Americans that feel the same way and have no faith in the process, just assume that, hey, guess what? You know those ballots are going to magically show up. Just like they did, right? You saw that line on the curve up north? 100% of votes. I went to sleep. I woke up 2 hours later after not sleeping for 3 days. I said, that's amazing, 130,000 votes. Not one of them for Donald Trump. No one believes that this is real. And for us to have faith in the Republic, we need transparency in the process. And so what I can promise you this is, everyone knows it, Donald Trump is a fighter. And we're going to fight each and every one of these. Georgia, it's going to be important. And I'm excited to have these guys on our team, as well as Kelly Loeffler and the others that are going to be coming down to be a part of this. David Perdue and Sonny Perdue, all of these people that are Georgia guys that understand what's happening here, they're a part of this team, because guess what? You're going to have another election here in about 2 months that could decide the fate of the United States Senate. So we're going to be watching this nonsense, because everyone knows what's going on. Everyone understands it. And the media, who, let's not kid ourselves, have given up the pretense of objectivity to be cheerleaders for the left, they're going to go nuts. But Donald Trump is going to fight each and every one of these things so we have a fair election, regardless of that outcome. Americans need to know that this is not a banana republic. And right now, very few people have faith that that's not the case. That should scare all of us. It should scare all of us. If this was going on in another country, if this was going on in a third world country, they would be screaming to the high heavens. When it's happening right here in America, and not just in Georgia, but in all over the place, but primarily in Democrat cities with Democrat control, Democrat judges, this cannot be a one-sided system. This cannot be democracy only when we win. That doesn't work that way. We've been seeing it for far too long, and I think, like many things, Donald Trump is going to be the guy to open the door to get the transparency that America wants and that America and our democracy deserves. So thank you very much for being here. I look forward to being in the battle. It's going to be a long and fun one. Thank you, guys.
In closing, I want you to give me your attention just for a second. I want you to hear this. I want you to really hear this. If Joe Biden wins this election, there's going to be some payback. Not violence. Half of this country will believe that they cheated us out of this election. When Donald Trump became the duly president in 2016, 2020, from the deep state, from the media, and from the Democratic Party, they sought out to keep him from being in office, from impeachments to all kinds of nonsense. Russia was a lie, and it was hoax, and it was a hoax, and it was started by Hillary Clinton. And the FBI and the Justice Department, they play their role in that too. Half of this country is not going to settle if Joe Biden wins. We will never accept those results because this process was too tainted. There was no transparency and no integrity in this whole entire process. So I'm telling you right now, we're putting you on notice. Now, I'm a Democrat. I'm not changing party because I want to still unravel the bigotry and the voter suppression and depression of African American voters in the Democratic Party. I'm going to keep fighting that. And I'm going to fight every day that they become woke. But I'm telling you, Democrats, I want you to know we're on your ass.